When you become part of the universe becomes a part of you. And this came out of my yogi tea earlier today. And it's perfect. So we went through all of, the retrogrades, and I'm going to be posting them up over the next couple of days. But I wanted to take time to speak of the eclipse that will be happening on Thursday, July 12th, 2018 at 10:48 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time in the sign of Cancer. 20 degrees and 41 minutes of Cancer. We just actually had a full moon in Capricorn, and when I discussed that video, I really wanted you guys to understand how important it was to find that even balance between private life and public life, home life per career life. Ultimately, that was going to prepare you for now. Eclipses really have to do with karmic energy. Now, karma doesn't have to be something negative. Karma can be positive. Same way as we discussed Saturn in retrograde. It's whatever light you put into it. So if you put light into it, it's great. If you put darkness into it and there's no light around for you to be able to turn on, it's very hard for you to be able to get out of whatever energy it's going to mirror back. Eclipses really have to do with karmic fate. So these are things that, it sounds crazy, but before we came here, we pretty much decided that these are the things that we wanted to happen around the certain times. And I say this because even it is our own request that has set up our birth charts the way that they were to teach us the things that we're learning in this lifetime. With eclipse, it really affects you from anywhere from 3 to 6 months, and that could be 3 months before, that can be 3 months after, or it could be 6 months. Specifically with this eclipse, which I wanted to really focus on because the next eclipse that's going to be on July 27th is such a major eclipse. I really wanted to take time to really be able to focus on the light in this one. So this one is a lighter version. It's a more of a giving energy. It is very close-knit to our North Node, and that also stands for Rahu. And Rahu has to do with the mind portion of our destiny. So that's really having to do with what we're going towards, our future. So this is a time period where Rahu is giving, and that usually comes with sudden crisis. Now, sudden crisis doesn't necessarily mean something huge that's terrible. Crisis just happens, when it's sudden. You're not expecting it, and something positive can most definitely come out of it, because ultimately the crisis is just offering change, offering in a way forceful change. Eclipses are really there to kind of press the reset button on areas of our lives that we are either too stubborn to let go of, too stubborn to begin, too fearful to begin. It is really that offering to us to be able to just hit the reset no matter what. Imagine if you were watching a show and you were extremely tired and really didn't want to get up, but then all of a sudden the TV came on and it was that loud, and they play with, anything that's any kind of interruption. And at that point, maybe it started hurting your ears, so you had to turn off the TV. That's pretty much the effect that an eclipse will give. It gives that forceful effect that, we find reasons to procrastinate against either starting or finishing a project, or, conquering a certain area of our lives, or taking the next step into something that has been prolonged for whatever reason. It's a positive eclipse. Rahu is present, and we want to take in whatever we are being given and really being able to value it. Now, it is important to understand that illusion can be seen in this. In the simple fact that when you are given what you're requesting, being that Rahu and the North Node really has to do with your destiny, it's going to create that passion. So whatever you're requesting is going to have that feeling of needing this thing so bad. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it may not even be what you really truly want, but because you request it, it's going to bring in that sudden change to really give you what you want, but make you realize that it may have not been what you have wanted all along. That makes so much sense to the theme of this particular eclipse. It is in Cancer, and Cancer has everything to do with home, our roots, our origin, our mind, mother's lineage. It really connects to our needs. You know, when you talk about the moon, it talks about our needs versus our wants. Really taking consideration of what the mind needs for emotional fulfillment, tapping into your vulnerability, allowing yourself to really connect with your inner emotions and come to some kind of agreement with self to change something that's going to propel you forward. And if you don't allow yourself to do that, the universe will do it for you. That reset button is pretty much when the sun and moon are being hidden by this eclipse, and it's almost like, you know, resetting. The eclipse will be tightly conjunct with Pluto in Capricorn. So having that Plutonic energy is really going to open up that vulnerability even louder. Reason being is because now you have that aspect of Cancer that is really tapping into your emotional sensitivity, and Pluto plays no games with really going in and figuring out what needs to stay and what needs to go. Pluto is about detox, because with the stuff that you desire, you really need to have room to allow it in. And with the eclipse being in an area close to the North Node, in order to allow whatever, you know, Rahu is planning on giving to you, you really need to have the room for it. It's really important to understand that with these eclipses, again, it's all to help us receive things or to complete things and let go of things and, you know, emerge from whatever area of our lives that we're staying stuck at. It's so important to understand this, because if we didn't have offerings like this, we would really never go forward. And that's what's most important for us to really come to peace with. A message to understand for this Cancerian energy and for the eclipse, all three of them this summer, you know, with having 2 in just this month and then 1 next month, and having all of these retrogrades going on at the same time. Ultimately, it is, you know, going to happen either way, we like it or not. And we can have our own belief systems or whatever the case may be. You know, I'm into astrology, but that doesn't take away my love for God, the universe, and my spirit guides that guide me every single day. It's really what I would say these messages are for people that want to prepare and understand what's going on in their lives, and not just go day to day and wondering why certain things might happen to them. It's a way for you to really have some kind of guidance on how you can utilize the energy in your best way possible. But that doesn't take away the idea and the fact that you need to let it happen. You know, a lot of our issues really comes from attachment, and detaching from that is really what's going to get us to a higher understanding, a higher level. You know, you think of a video game and you think of the idea that you really can't go forward until you've passed all of the boards that are within that one level. You may be given chances for you to go and build your stamina up, or your, you know, your outfit, or whatever the case may be for the video game, in order to be able to pass other levels. And ultimately, that is the energy that's being offered on a day-to-day with all of these retrogrades or with transiting planets. But to actually go to the next level, that's the eclipse. And usually it comes from, you know, leaving something behind, or it comes from not being stubborn to start something or scared to begin something. Really taking this energy and really embracing it is really what's going to get you further. You know, have conversation, talk to people if that makes you feel better. You know, get into groups that support who you are and support the way that you think. It's also important to understand that if you are given something that you truly wanted for so long, and you realize that it isn't in your best interest, you know, then at that point, it's a good time to look forward to the eclipse that will be happening on July 27th, because that's about completions and letting go. So just trust in the universe. Again, what I read, when you allow yourself to be a part of the universe is really when, you know, the universe is a part of you, and you really can experience all the light that it wants to give you. Keeping in mind that every person's chart is completely different, and depending on your rising sign as well as where your personal placements are in your chart will really pinpoint where in the area of your life that this eclipse will affect. Again, it can take time. This could have been something that happened within the last 3 months, or it could be something that will happen within 3 months, and the energy will definitely last for about 6 months. And I have listed what areas of your birth chart will be affected according to the rising sign that you have. I'm an Aquarius rising, so this will be in my 6th house of daily activities. So anybody that has Aquarius as their rising sign, if their personal degrees are placed in that area, then they definitely will have a new beginning in that area of their life. Again, new moon, new beginnings, and resets. I'm looking forward to whatever this universe is going to give. And I really look forward into seeing all of your comments on how it's affecting you. Also, I would advise you to go to the other video that describes every house. You're able to really be able to connect it once you look at your own personal chart. I hope this information sees you well, and if you have any questions, please email me at sukiheals@yahoo.com or personally message me. Thank you, and love and light.